Okay, hi. Okay, so I am back to make this video for the millionth time over the course of I don't know how long, but I really want to get some information out there because I have recently what people call shifted timelines or shifted my reality. And I did it under extremely strenuous and lonely circumstances where I am currently under the stay-at-home mom portion of my life. I have three children. One is 8, one's about to be 6, and the other one is about 15 months. So I've gone through, about 8 years on and off, mostly being a stay-at-home mom and trying to navigate this spiritual awakening, which, of course, we can look back at our entire lives and see how long it's been calling us. So I feel like I've been navigating it forever. However, um, intentionally or trying to really figure out the inner workings and mechanisms of what's truly going on here has been intentional for routinely for about 5 years, about 5, 6 years now. So it's been really but it's always been going on since my early 20s. I really got into physics and different things like that. So I can see how it's all building on itself. But I want to really try and get people to understand that you are totally capable of shifting whatever reality you are currently experiencing under the current circumstances that you have with the tools that you currently have, because it's all in your mind, and everyone already has a mind to use. And if you're drawn to this type of conversation or content, then you have the inner knowing or calling to be in this area, and you should not ever stray away from that. But you have to also understand that you are going to have to undertake something. It's like an undoing of who you were, and you're going to have to undertake that alone. But there's a lot of guidance. There's a lot of people around you that can help you and offer you different things, but it's also a fine line or a balance between how much content are you consuming and filling yourself up with, and how much action are you total in actually taking in your life. And that is where I struggled or didn't really understand that I wasn't, because you think that, well, you think all these things because you're building on all of these things until you get to this now moment. And this now moment is calling for stillness. So you have to understand that even though you've been purchasing different things, maybe different courses, and trying to gain different perspectives, they're all leading to the point of you trying to get yourself to actually just go within. And because there's no answer on the outside that is going to be as true to you as the one on the inside. And oh, I believe that that could also be a major deterrent for a lot of people, because in society, especially as I was growing up, it was kind of like there was always a one solution fix it for a lot of people, or that's how it was offered. It's like there was two sodas, there's Pepsi and Coke, and everybody was on one of those. There's Republicans and there's Democrats. And then there's also back in the 90s, there was Slim Fast. Everybody was on Slim Fast. There's like, this has to work. And it worked for her, it has to work for me. And it's always this idea that whatever happens for somebody else is going to be possible for you. And it truly is, if you desire to have an experience as they are having. However, there's also so many different undertones that are taking place in these situations that need to be brought into your consciousness if you're having a hard time loving yourself or finding value in yourself. And that's what I really want to start with, is helping people build a strong foundation and understanding the wasted time we spend on comparison, and further that to social media and the news, and even it's wild. So, and operate So a lot of things that I really like to do is dive into areas that I feel extremely drawn to. So I was really drawn to physics because I like to challenge myself. I know that when I'm in math, I'm fantastic at math and it lights me up. But when I'm away from it, I totally forget everything. So it creates this really big divide in how much I trusted myself to even go in this direction. So I started to do it on my own, and it was so difficult because when you start reading text by written by scientists, their vocabulary is on a completely different level. So it's like a whole new learning process to even understand what you're reading. You have to understand the vocabulary. So it took me a really long time because, I'm living life too. I'm living life in between, but I've got this interest inside of me, and it's a true interest. But all of that, like, even biology classes and health stuff that I studied helped me truly get to a point of accumulation where I could, dive into a difficult text and really understand it and begin to integrate it. And I think that that's where I can truly offer a lot of help. And I don't know how many people are hung up on process and needing tangible or at least some type of level of understanding of what's going on scientifically to kind of grasp what the fuck is going on. Like, for me personally, I work a lot with astrology. So I understand that in my astrology, this is something that I rely on for an understanding or something that I naturally do. And I don't know how far out that reaches, but I would like to just share that with the people that I guess are interested. So, one book that truly helped me understand or get a grip, that I'm going to use that word, that really resonated with what I kind of understand of what's going on here, is The Unobstructed Universe, which was written by Stuart Edward White. And I'm going to pick apart the book probably forever in different ways, but what the one thing that I want people to kind of understand is that there are so many different intricacies that go on in even your own chemistry and like internal mechanics that actually are representative of what they talk about in this book, and representative of also, of course, what all religions around the world talked about. And the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, and how they even have, like, I believe it's a pituitary gland has like some small bits of magnetic, like, sediment in it, and it's like this size matter. You know what I mean? Like, when it's present, what's the purpose? Or and it's like, of course there's going to be a lot of different studies on what it could be, but there's also all this mystical mythical text of different things going on, and then it becomes present in our physical body, and you can't help but question it. So in The Unobstructed Universe, I guess what I also want to preface this before I get into this is, I'm truly trying to help people, and I don't want this to get too technical, but I'm truly trying to help people who are having a hard time grasping how to live their day to day and shift it in a way that they can be happier or lighter. And, like, maybe you're at a point where you're so depressed that your desires and all of your dreams and everything are so far freaking gone that all you want to do is feel lighter. You're just at the point where you're just like, let's just get through this day feeling better. Let's shift this dynamic going on here. If these are my current circumstances, let's at least make them better, or whatever it is. Whatever it is. Like, in my situation, I wasn't able to change it so much because of the dynamics of having a family. So it's kind of like, oh, I feel like I'm in prison. I have all of these wants and needs and desires, and I go into analysis paralysis, and I'm just stuck in these loops and patterns and blah. Like, can I at least just laugh every day? Like, can we just lighten the load a little bit? Can I at least remove this depression I'm feeling? Because I'm a homeopath, I refuse to take a pill, so I put myself through the trenches. And so, um, yeah. So that's what I really want to do before I get into confusing people with this other stuff. So, one small part that I learned in this book is how when you are in a spirit body, which is what's going on in this book, it's like a channeling between a husband and a wife who has passed on, and the friend who acts as a station. They're all working friends who kind of try to communicate with people who have passed on to get an understanding of the physics of the world beyond ours, kind of what goes on. And they did this through, started off as like, interest at parties and doing Ouija boards. And then she got into studying it, and it just kind of went in a different direction. So that's what the book is basically about. So the husband and wife are communicating through a woman called which they refer to as a station. So she's kind of vacated uh, her consciousness in order for the woman named Betty to come in and use her to communicate. And she's calls the world she now lives in, which is still basically the third dimension. She's still basically present here in this. She can go anywhere, right? But she's otherworldly. But she is now living in an unobstructed universe, and we live in an obstructed universe, meaning that we have obstructions of physical matter around us that we have to move around in order to operate. And she can just flow through them. She doesn't necessarily have a need for them. She can utilize them, but it's not what is, they're beyond her now. So she's now in an obstructed universe, gaining different lessons and understandings, and still kind of on her journey in the same way we are, but in a different form. So she's transitioned. So what she comes in to tell us, and I want to talk specifically about frequency, because I think this has to do a lot with what we are all kind of focused on right now, and that is manifestation. So, okay, so motion, what you can count. Okay, let me see if there's, okay, so I want to get really specific. Okay, here we go. Okay, frequency. Frequency is this magnetic pull that consciousness contains when you are trying to put something into manifestation or fruition, or just natural ways that the world is operating. So like the way that like a baby is kind of coming into the earth through this like etheric pool, or the way a blade of grass is being multiplied through other ways. It's like we have a human understanding of the mechanics and what's going on in the body and all this stuff, but there's also this undertone of like uh a pulling together of some type of, there's an essence that comes into the personality and being, and all these different, like life comes in, right? So um your consciousness is pulling in this frequency. It's like a magnetism. So when you are operating as yourself, you are constantly kind of using this consciousness, this magnetism, to pull in experiences. And this is where it gets a little bit complex, because um, everyone wants to know how to understand how to navigate this. It's like, oh, okay, so cool. What do I do? Well, this is where the work starts, and this is the hardest part. And this is kind of where I want to stop the first video and impress upon everybody the importance. I don't want to stop it yet, but the importance of stillness and how much that is going to shift everything around you. And if you don't start in this spot and getting yourself trained to be within yourself, then all of the other stuff is not going to work. You're not going to be able to pull in anything because you will never know how to be in receiving mode. And this is the hard work in the beginning. This is the first layer of hard work. And I just kind of want to initiate anybody who is willing, because everybody has willpower. It's like, how much discipline and discernment do you currently have in this state of consciousness that you are willing to utilize to move yourself forward into the direction of changing your reality? Because you can continually pretend, honestly, to be on this path of awakening. And I don't use that word pretending lightly, because I pretended. um I and I'm using, okay, I want to tiptoe because it is a journey and a building block, but there has to be a certain moment in time where you're just like, all right, I'm diving in. I trust myself and I'm diving in and I'm going to do this because people are saying it's real. So I want to find out if it's real. And you know what? You're still going to be able to carry on with your life no matter what. Why don't you just play in the journey a little bit and open it up and see what you can do? Take a break, feel the power of taking a break from your life and the people around you and the news and the social media. All of it is basically non negotiable if you want to get to the place of like glow up or changing my reality. All these different things, none of it's going to happen unless you get very, very real with yourself. And I'm not talking about I'm going to the gym every day to be, well, yeah, you could kind of use that same type of mindset to begin, but you're going to have to begin to trust your inner knowing and start to question what's going on in your psyche and in the loop that you've created for yourself, the track you're playing in the head. And that work is so difficult to navigate when you have all this other input coming into your brain. Like, people will tell you up and down, left and right, that they can't meditate, they can't do this, they can't do that. But everything always comes back to stillness and meditation. And maybe that's why they want to give up, because they can't do it. It's like, well, you can, but you also have to be very discerning with what you are putting into your psyche. This is where it starts. You have to start with your brain. If you want to change what you're eating, how you're thinking, how you're feeling, what you're seeing, what you're doing, all of it, you have to begin here, or else nothing shifts. And there's so much more that transpires from just this single step, that you begin to walk in trust, because now you have eliminated all outside noise and now you have to make decisions for yourself in a way that maybe you didn't on a day-to-day basis. Like, how do I feel today? What do I want to drink? How do I want to dress? And you have all this free time to ask yourself these questions. And that's what I suggest you start to do when you have quiet time after your moments of like stillness and trying to regulate your nervous system. You can definitely exercise, go for runs, go for walks, um, all of that stuff. And you would probably be best doing it in silence. What I do is I go for a walk, and that kind of handles a couple things at one time. I get to transmute some energies that I'm feeling in my body, regulate my nervous system, have quiet time. Maybe I'll have some moments of stillness throughout that in my thought process where I can receive some type of understanding or information. However, nothing, like right now, nothing is going to help me other than sitting down, breathing long enough to understand that if I truly want to, I can just jump into the understanding of being and be there. But that's because I've practiced, shifting frequencies, but I also disassociate a lot for my whole life. And that's a whole nother video, because the process of disassociation and pulling yourself back into your body, and the fact that you're still like parts of you are trying to still leave, and you're trying to like, no, we're gonna do this, we're gonna anchor in, and you're like, I don't want to be here, or you do want to be here, but you're just escaping. I don't freaking know what's going on with that, but living in third person, if you can vibe with that, yeah, it's disassociation is difficult. So stillness is difficult. All of these things are so hard to do at first. And then you do them and you're like, oh my God, I've got this like inner clarity and kind of like freedom of other people's opinions. And I feel like I can kind of vibe on myself and feel myself a little bit. And in this space of stillness, and only in this space of stillness, was I able to truly be real with myself that I was pretty bored with what I was doing. And maybe with this free time, I can actually start this workout routine, because I've been spending so much time convincing myself that watching my videos while I'm doing laundry and all this stuff and getting these things done is me having free time. And I'm actually, using my time wisely. But no, first of all, the laundry is always going to be there, and that's one thing to reconcile if you are a perfectionist. Um, all these things are always going to be there, and they're always going to come back. So it's like routine is important to help you maintain, so that you can, if you live in this like hyper vigilant type of energy, but if you don't, that's even better. Like, turn off your phone and vibe out, light some incense, and maybe you will get the inspiration to begin doing things in your home. The energy is going to literally shift, but it won't unless you allow it to. And this is where the glow up starts to kind of occur in a way, because you are constantly under some form of fight or flight or chronic stress. Most of us are, or don't realize it. And that type of damage that occurs in your cellular body, and then kind of will manifest into your skin and into your aches and pains, your dis-ease. All of that begins to become reversed, because now your body is now not using all of this extra stuff to tend to these outward uh, fight or flight chemicals and emotions. And so the shift in your cells, it becomes more reparative. And with the adjustment of coming back to yourself, you begin to shift. Maybe you begin to drink more water and eat differently and do this. These are the natural things that happen to me, and I'm drawn in these places. So if you are a person who is drawn to health and drawn to wanting to better yourself, it's like, this is the way. You have to turn off the noise, and you can't ever, ever, ever move on until you do. And you see this, and this is a mechanical understanding of a human's journey. However, you do see this play out in the real world with people who do not regard spirituality as their path, the way that it happened, right? So, like an athlete, if they're in training, they're going to seclude themselves because they need to focus, they need to hone in, and the outside world is understandably a distraction to their goal, to their journey. So they need to zone in. And so it's not a foreign idea that this is something that needs to occur. This is something that is very, very understandable to the human mind. But if you're coming at it from a spiritual aspect, and you want to get a grip and begin to grow that trust in the universe, God, source, especially when you get confused, when people call everything everything, and you're like, well, what is real then? Is it just to me? Is this all play and pretend? It's like, no, avoid all that. Avoid what anybody says and trust yourself only. And you won't ever begin to do that until you are still. And once the stillness starts to take in and the trust in your inner self begins to unravel in different ways that you don't understand, don't know, don't nothing. And that's the whole point. It's a beautiful unraveling, and you can't see it yet. You have to trust. And that's the first test. It's like, oh, okay, so you have to you have to believe in something that you can't see in order for it to become real. It's not the other way around because it's cheap and it's something you can do at the store. It's something easy and it's something we're used to. It's not how it freaking works. You can't do it like that. And no crystal, no nothing, no. I don't want to be rude because there are different levels of consciousness that are going to accept these tools in different ways. They're going to get you where you want to go on your journey in the time and space you currently reside in. Like, I have had massive results with my crystals, with my tools in general, with my cards. Without my cards and the rest of my collection that only grows, there's no way I would have gotten here. These are important. I'm not taking that away, but they're not going to shift your inner consciousness, just like I'm not going to. No one's going to unless you do it yourself or take the time to truly get to know yourself. And I will, oh, I'd love to help. I'd love to guide you in every step of the way and get you there because I got there. I'm a mother of 3. I'm super thirsty. Hold on. My daughter's softball water bottle. Okay. I'm a mother of 3 with no time that I could have conceived of in 2025. I was still in the trenches of trying to pull all my wands through the deep mud that turns out to be quicksand. It's like, oh my God. And I still held it together in a way that I can't believe that I did. And it's exhausting, it's heartbreaking. And then when I realized I'm doing everything I can possibly do, I'm loving as hard as I can, I'm giving as much as I can, I'm trying to do my inner work, I'm trying to build my business, I'm trying to love my husband, I'm trying to give to my mother. I was in an enmeshed relationship. Ooh, I've got a lot to offer you guys if you've been there. Um, it was just, there's so much. And throughout all of that, my house was clean, my kids were on time, we were getting in sports, I was trying to maintain relationships with people, but nothing was like, oh my gosh, it was like on the inside, I was just so sad and dead and gray and like flat. Like, it's like you truly felt like there's stages of your life and now you're in the ending stages and there's nothing left for you because no one believes you can have it and you don't believe you can have it. And there's the mirror, right? You don't believe you can have it, so they don't believe you can have it. And I didn't, it's a lot of work to get there. It's a lot. And it wasn't until I put my head down one day because my intuitive voice was so loud. It was like, put your head down. During analysis paralysis and extreme panic attack after a drop off and morning routine, I just put my head down and maybe I cried a little bit. I was definitely shaking and I couldn't do anything. And then as my nervous system began to regulate through just putting my head down and allowing myself to breathe in no specific way, because this was the first time that I was truly like, I had no option. It was like either my ego or my intuition was like, stop now. And I had the understanding that I'm doing everything and nothing is working. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking do nothing. I'm not going to do shit. And I'm going to take care of myself. That's what I'm going to do all day. I'm going to work out. Well, maybe I didn't think that yet. No, I know that didn't happen yet. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to trust that when I feel capable of handling my daily duties, that they will be done in time and accordingly. That was the first kind of fine line to walk, right? Is like, okay, I'm going to do nothing and see how this works. Because they say if you do nothing, it's like you're not supposed to do anything. You're supposed to flow. You're supposed to feel good. So it's kind of like, okay, I have all this stuff to do right now. I've got this full plate. Like, this is weird to think about. I've got this full plate to do. I'm going to just say no. I'm going to choose stillness and regulation, because once I began to do that at the kitchen table that morning and my nervous system began to calm, immediately I was like, oh, I can go make the bed. I can go do some things that normally I would be really sad I had to do. Sometimes you do it in that energy, other times you don't. But the energy I was coming out of was like, oh, Groundhog Day, Loop Day, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say what I just wanted to say, but if you feel me, you feel me. And so I got myself to a point where I was like, okay, I can do that. And then maybe I got myself to a point where I was like, okay, let's go to the park, or let's go on a walk, or let's do something. And that's like nice, much nicer than feeling like, oh, Eight of Swords, victimhood, like patterns. This is always me. This is always me. When is it going to end? I hate my life. I hate everything. I want to love everybody, but I can't because I'm so angry at what's going on. Ugh, hate it, didn't choose this, but it's here and I chose it. Make better decisions. Like life, right? Holy shit. One day you're 17 and the next day you're 38 and you're like, what? So, um, you have to really be honest with yourself about how much you want to shift, because you can go to the store and continue to buy whatever you think you're going to need to feel happy, and then that stuff's going to get old and rot in your closet, or you're going to gain weight, you're going to lose weight, and all this other stuff. And you have to understand that when you buy something at the store, it's fulfilling a desire within you, and it's lighting up something within you that's lacking or you think is lacking. So it's fulfilling like this little dopamine hit for a moment, but it's truly just you that's generating this emotion towards this item, because once that item becomes lackluster or it loses its purpose, it just lays on the floor and no longer generates any emotion, because it has no emotion. It's just a material item. You have the emotion within you that you are attaching to the item, therefore experiencing the reality. So, for instance, to somebody, this is just a deck of cards that is completely worthless. And why would you buy this? It's just silly little sayings that for me, this is a cute little oracle deck. For somebody, well, a cute little oracle deck that I pair with another deck that was done by this woman, that I like to be called to certain decks to give to certain people with different types of personalities. So sometimes you deal with people who have less trauma than other people, and maybe they're looking for more day-to-day advice, or navigating something, because you want to give everybody what they want, but then you're going to put your twist on it because you are there for inner healing. But maybe they want something that's cute, so somebody doesn't see value in this. But to me, this is an aspect of my business that's specific for a group of a subset of people that has a personality that would be drawn to something like this. So because everybody has a spiritual aspect to themselves inside, I rely on people's unknown clairvoyance or clairaudience or something to choose or to be, and I want to offer. So for me, this is an extremely useful tool, and I am attaching meaning to this. For me, this is extremely powerful. It can generate income for me. It can heals people's lives. It can make people's laugh. It can give people solutions to problems and complexities in their minds that they couldn't figure out. For me, it's everything. And for somebody else, it's just a crappy little deck of cards that they would throw away in the trash and care no mind about. So it doesn't generate the same type of something to them. I don't even know how the hell I got here. Stillness, I'm sure. But all of those emotions that I'm talking about will be able to come out of you more, I want to say genuinely, authentically, and flowy. They will flow out of you more once you start to lighten the load in your mind. You are an extremely advanced mechanical, electrical machine operating on a third dimension with a connection to a higher source. And most of you who are viewing content like this have an inner knowing. There's a lot of people that, regardless of the upbringing that they had, they don't have that primal desire to pursue a truth, but they are here for a reason as well, and they help you navigate your journey. Whoop, I'm going into other stuff like the devil energy and how much I love it because it's formed and shaped me just as much as the light. And the devil is within me as much as God is, because everything is within me. And if something is bad for me on the outside, then I am there again attaching meaning to it, when in fact I should be asking myself, why is this thing triggering me? And why am I so attached to it? And what needs to be looked at within me? The devil is a mirror to us of the things that we need to heal. It's like, it is what it is, it's, oh, okay. I will talk to you guys later, or whoever wants to be here in my beginning stages of my authentic journey, to share my path with anybody who needs help understanding motherhood, spirituality in motherhood, in a modern world where you don't want to give up your modern world and your desires and everything to live authentically in your spirit, because you can have it all. And I also want to be here for the people who suffer from parents who have like borderline personality disorder, narcissists, and maybe an enmeshed relationship. ENMESHED. In my head, I don't have a list. Kind of hear it, but in the videos, I sound like I have a mouthful of marbles. That's what my mom used to say, which I love. And enmeshed relationship, and how I have worked myself out of that. And that's free. I'll give that to you for free. You know, there's a lot of good therapists out there, but I will teach you how to get out of there. So I will help you. I can't do the inner work for you, but I will help you and guide you on what I did. So I hope that you come back for the second video, or are interested in stuff like this. And I guess I don't really know what to do. I'm just trying to be here and present and authentic and share my journey thus far, because it's what I'm being called to do. But I have a lot of visibility issues and former traumas that I have healed from, that are now being presented to me in real time, that I have to use the tools that I've learned to navigate through. So it's a slow learning process as I'm going through this, and I hope you guys can gain something from that. And the next video, I'm going to talk about what comes after you have integrated stillness and grounding practices into your life. And, usually on that point, when you have began to incorporate this into your life as a normal routine, and you're not giving all your time away to social media and different news outlets or whatever it is, and you're only doing things that are truly aligned with you, right? We're going to talk about kind of honing in on the person that you are desiring to be through different forms of drawing out your consciousness through journaling, or just conversation, things like that, because it needs to come out. It needs to be verbalized. It needs to be looked at, and needs to be analyzed and prioritized. So that would be the following video that I would like to discuss with you guys because that is so, so, so important and so exciting. And stillness is exciting. Just allow it to settle in, allow the freedom to come in, allow the empty space in your brain to roll out and present itself to you. It's new. It's exciting. It's different. It's maybe boring. It's like, why is it boring? Why am I boring? Just play with it, allow it to be, and then go to sleep and wake up and see what type of shifts have happened in yourself and in your understanding of things, and what type of clarity you wake up with in the morning. What type of an emotion are you crying? Are you purging? Are you happy? Are you loving? Just start to play with your inner selfness and the stillness. It's such a beautiful, beautiful, ongoing, never ending, needed to happen every day step. So start now, and I will talk to you later.